Good afternoon. We are here with our pastors, all four pastors' wives. They are the wives of our four pastors, and we are so excited to have them with us. We thought today we would do something different and fun, and so I can't wait to jump in and see what we find out about these women. It is great to have you. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Nice to be here.
So I want to start out with just asking how you're doing. I know that for many, including myself, it is so great to see your faces. And we are ready to be done with all of this technology, only seeing each other this way, but it is a good way for us to just for a few minutes connect and hear from you. So how are you doing? Let's start with you, Miss Polly. How is everything going?
I'm doing good. Everything's pretty secure and safe. Our family's healthy.
Good.
So, yeah, we're doing good.
Great. And so, Jessica, how's it going with you?
We're making it.
One day at a time, right?
Yeah, we're I said life is not terribly different for us, other than the things that wouldn't break up our week, but yeah.
Right. Karen, how about you?
We're good. Staying busy,
Yeah,
laughing a lot.
of course. Great. And Julianne, how about you?
There is a reason we don't homeschool in our house. We are surviving, but it's definitely different with mom being the teacher instead of our fantastic teachers at school.
Right. So for those that are joining us, some may know your family, some may not, and some may have caught some of the pastor's additions, but in those they mentioned how old your children were. But let's go through that again, just so everybody knows. So Julianne, tell us how old yours are.
So we have three.
Mm-hmm.
Emma is 7, will be 8 next week or the week after, very close. Caleb is 6.5, and Maddie is 3.5.
Great. Okay, Jessica?
We have a 12-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 20-month-old, she's our foster daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and then a 13-month-old.
Wow. Okay, Karen?
I have a 20-year-old. That makes me feel old to say that, but I have a 20-year-old, 16-year-old, and 13-year-old.
Okay, and Miss Polly, even though yours are not living there with you, you have had family visits. So tell us about your children and your grandchildren.
I have a son in Oklahoma City, Jeff, he's 44, and my son John is in O'Fallon, he's 41, and 2 daughter-in-laws, lovely girls. And I have a 7, 5, 3, and 1 grandchildren. 3 boys and a girl.
Wow, you did great remembering all that without a pause. Good job. Well, we have several people joining us, and right here at the beginning, we have one of our pastors joining us, Brad Canalejo, who will be preaching, I believe, this Sunday. And he has a question for his wife. It's a burning question that he'd like to know the answer to. Jessica, Brad says, how much can change with 1 second on the clock? Would you
That's a
care to
football
elaborate?
reference.
What'd you say?
That's a football reference. So we're both from Alabama, and he is a diehard Auburn fan, and I'm a diehard Alabama fan. And at the Iron Bowl, in 1 second, Auburn beat us.
Oh, that was cold-hearted for him to
It was
ask that.
cold-hearted. He likes to bring it up quite frequently.
So that could lead us into a whole other line of questioning. We could talk about rivalries that are going on at home, but we won't even go there. We're going to keep it on the positive. So what I want to know is, how have you been keeping busy? You've talked about children, but what are some of the fun things that you've been doing during this time of being at home? Karen?
I am still working. Thankfully, I get to do it from home.
Yes.
All my international students are now back in their homes. Those that are going home for the summer, they all made it home. So my job is lightened up a little bit. But in the midst of that as well, we're doing a lot of house projects, basement reorganization, deep cleaning, yard work. Our backyard right now looks like a bomb has exploded because we've taken down a lot of trees, and it's like in the middle of the big project. I've also been able to do a lot of reading and just kind of relaxing. every now and then
Good.
too. I love to go out and sit in the sun and just read for a little bit or on my screen porch, which is where I would be today, but Brock is mowing, so that would kind of be a little loud.
Okay. Yeah, I was beginning to think you missed what I said at the beginning. Fun things, house projects, work.
It is fun.
but
We're
it-
doing it together, and that's what's making it
Yes.
lots of fun. There are moments that it's stressful.
Yeah.
But overall, we just laugh the whole time we do it. So overall, it's been fun.
Good.
I'm sure if you ask the boys about working with me, they would tell you it's not so fun, but I am enjoying it.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure. Well, Miss Polly, how about you? How have you been having some fun while you've been in quarantine?
I've been reading a lot too. Last night got to go to the lake once during this time, so we went down to the lake. That was fun. We were not at the party though.
Oh, okay. You weren't out there with all those people.
No, we didn't do that. But we played puzzle. We do puzzles, and I don't know. I got to babysit the boys this past week, which was fun.
Yeah.
And my daughter-in-law, my granddaughter, so that was fun.
Yeah.
So I've done a little painting, which I've enjoyed.
Oh, we'd love to see that.
No,
Yeah.
I really wouldn't.
You are
I
very,
can't say I'm a painter. I'm a duffer, whatever that.
you are very talented. I do know that. So, wow. Okay. And Julianne, how about you? Not school. Don't say school because that's
Well,
not
that's
fun,
not
right?
fun. That's not fun, no. Lots of puzzles for me. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I may not let my children help me as much as I know some other people do. But I have done a significant amount of puzzles.
Good, good. And Jessica? Fun stuff.
We're trying to maximize on the outside time when it's pretty enough to be doing that. But we are still wrapping up our homeschool year. It's our last week of full homeschool. So hopefully there's more fun in store in the next few days and weeks.
Yes, with the weather and all that. When it is sunny, you can get out there and have some fun. Well, Karen, you have been complimented on the blue behind you and how that is your color. I think so too. Very lovely.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. What has been your favorite thing that has developed during this extended time at home? Some of you have already kind of shared that, but for us, we have enjoyed watching different concerts online. We have a group that we love. It's a Christian couple that does Christian music. They're called the Gray Havens, and they have been having concerts. And so our whole family loves them, and we sit down and watch that. And we've also started playing, I don't know how to say it, Settlers of Catan,
Yeah.
however you say that. Yep, so we've been doing that. So what are some things that have kind of bubbled out of this time together as a family that you've really enjoyed and maybe that has become a part of your week? Jessica?
Well, we haven't done anything new, especially. But I think out of all of this time, it's made me try to slow down and enjoy some of those moments when I'm usually like, okay, we got to do this next, this, my day's planned out or whatever. Trying to let that go and just enjoy the time. And especially with the babies, they're changing and growing so fast. So.
Right. So Karen, in the midst of the home projects, I think you've been playing some games too. We've heard about cards.
We play a lot of cards. We tried puzzles, but like the first week, I cleared off my dining room table and just put a big puzzle out, and we got the frame done. And last week, I finally put it back in the box because we haven't touched it since then. One of my boys made the statement that you don't move enough when you do puzzles, and so we're not puzzle people.
Okay.
We
That's a move.
We play a lot of cards. One of my favorite things has just been the conversations that happen.
Yes.
My boys are best friends again because they've kind of had to be. And it's just fun to watch that happen. We play cards. Movie nights, I think we have watched all the Rocky movies now.
Okay.
Natalie will bring her little boys that she nannies to our house every other week or so, and they jump on the trampoline and we play with them and just hanging out together and having fun and not having the stress of, my boys are done with school and not having to say, did you do your schoolwork? Are you done with your schoolwork? But just relaxing and having a good time together.
Yeah.
We cook a lot together too. That's been kind of our our
Yeah,
new thing. Everybody's in the kitchen again, so it's kind
We've
of fun.
seen some of that on Facebook. It all looks great. Yeah. Julianne, how about you?
At the beginning, we did a lot of walks, and that was fun. And so we would go out when it was right before bedtime. So most people were not there. And so we would walk down to the elementary school and let the kids just literally run laps.
Yeah.
And they were perfectly content to do it. And we were perfectly content to let them do it. And they would take their flashlights, and it was a lot of fun.
That's great. Okay, Miss Polly.
Well, like I said, we've done puzzles. We like doing puzzles and just spending time together. We had a couple of birds who nested on our front porch and my wreath on the door, and then also out back. And we had fun watching the birds. Well, we had fun watching one of the birds have eggs and then babies, and that was fun.
Yeah. Well, in the middle of all this, especially with you saying you're cooking a lot more, Karen, what are some favorite recipes that you found? You know, I am always looking for something a little bit different. I seem to get in that cooking rut, and especially now. So what are some new recipes, things that you've tried?
Well, for me, during the school year, Ryan gets home before I do. And so typically he starts the dinner. He's a much better cook than I am. But he purchased an air fryer this last year. And when he purchased it, I thought, why are you buying an air fryer? We don't need an air fryer, but okay, he cooks, so I'll let him have an air fryer. I am loving the air fryer. I have done carrots. Corn on the cob in the air fryer is the absolute best way to have corn on the cob. We've done bacon, fried apples. I just experiment sometimes, and if I forget to do something, I put it in the air fryer because it cooks faster. Really, it's, you put butter on it, it's good, right?
It's good to go.
It's good. But the corn on the cob has been my favorite. And then we just pulled out some old recipes that we just haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
One was where you just roll chicken in butter and then in saltine crackers and bake it. We hadn't done that in years, and my kids love it.
That's
the problem we have is Brock eats all the crackers, so we never have them here to make it.
Yeah. Polly, I think you had a question or a comment about the corn.
I do. How'd you do your corn in your air fryer?
It's so easy. You spray the air fryer, and then I sprayed my corn with the butter spray, but you can also roll it in the butter and then salt and pepper. That's it.
That sounds good.
Do you remember?
Kara says that she likes, I'm sorry, Miss Polly, what'd you say?
How long do you cook it for? Do you remember?
I think it was 10 minutes.
Okay.
Kara says she likes to make French fries out of yellow squash in the air fryer. That sounds good. Jessica and Julianne, did y'all have any recipes that you've tried?
I tried one off of Facebook. It was a chicken thing, and it was meh. So it's not gonna make the cut.
Not gonna make it in the round, huh? How about you, Julianne?
Anything that I find that I get real excited about and I like, nobody else in my family likes. Like it's made once and I enjoy it, and everybody's like,
Tell about those little zucchini things that you made.
Zucchini pizzas.
Yeah.
That we robbed that off my mom. So
Okay.
you just slice zucchini round ways, a little bit of salt and pepper and garlic powder, and then a decent bit of like the shredded mozzarella or Parmesan, shredded Parmesan. Fantastic. Bake them in the oven.
I think you said the shredded Parmesan is the key, not that shaky kind.
No, you need decent Parmesan. I tried with just the shaky kind, and it was not as good as mom's. So.
Well, Miss Polly, one week Russ shared with us about something that you were making. I think it was barbecue or something, and he was so excited about that. So share with us what you like to make or what you'd like to make over this time.
Well, Russ gets excited about anything I cook, whether it's good or bad. He does. I think it was brisket. I like to do brisket all overnight, and it's just real simple. I pepper it, and then I put it in foil and make it really tight. Then I put it in a water bath, and I cook it overnight at like 300. And the next morning I open it and I scrape all the fat and the pepper off of it, and then wrap it up again, put it in the refrigerator, and then later I slice it and barbecue it. But I did find a recipe on Facebook for a lemon cake that had mascarpone cheese in it, And it was good. It was a lot of trouble. I'm not sure I'll do it again, but it was really good. while
It
it
sounds
lasted.
good.
Yeah, we had to eat on it for a week though. So
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll link some of these recipes in our Facebook feed if we can find them.
Yeah.
Well, we've been trying new things, and we've eaten out a few times, and definitely the pizza night is a big hit in our house. But that was something we were doing before, so I might have to try some of these ideas. Well, while we're thinking about things reopening and getting out and that kind of thing, I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you about that. But what have you missed while we have been at home? It could be a place, it could be something that you do together as a family. What have you missed? Let's start with Jessica.
I would say face-to-face interactions with people,
Yes.
not necessarily a place or anything like that, but just to see people other than the ones that are in my household all the time.
Although you love them dearly with all
I
your
love them, yes. But just that, even if we can't touch or anything like that, and it's at a distance, it's just so refreshing to like see people and get to connect with them. Now, don't get me wrong, all the technology and all the methods that we're doing to connect is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm thankful
Absolutely.
for that, but it no way beats face-to-face interactions.
Absolutely. Karen, how about you? What have you missed?
For me personally, I have missed, when my students left, I didn't get to tell them bye.
Mm,
And I didn't realize how hard that was going to be for the seniors until I was like sending them a message, congratulations, you're done. That
yeah.
was really hard.
Yeah.
I've also, today I'm supposed to be in Zambia.
Mm,
Obviously I'm not.
Yeah.
But, I kind of miss that part of, I'm happy to be home and not have to travel so much this summer.
mhm.
I do miss the service side of those trips.
Right.
Kind of miss that, my boys aren't getting to do the mission trip or youth camp or things like that. And while we're happy to have this time together and trying to make the most of it, it's just kind of, when I think about the things like that we're missing, it's sad. It's more the interaction, like just
Right.
thing with people.
Right.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Polly, how about you? Something that you've missed?
Well, I miss things for my kids. They don't, what the things they're missing and are not getting, like my first grader didn't get to have his first grade graduation or finish his first grade year. Or my new kindergartner, he'll be going to kindergarten next year, didn't get to go in and meet his teachers. And so it's going to be all different for them next year.
Mhm.
But personally, I miss lunch with my girlfriends. I really like seeing them and chatting and catching up. And I like to text, but I don't like to text for,
Yeah.
So
Not ongoing.
it's not quite the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just miss lunch with them. So
Mm-hmm. There's lots of things that, especially for our children, that we are missing, and you kind of grieve those things. I have a college graduate this year, and that was hard not going through that celebration. We've tried to do it in different ways. I love, love, love the fact that we were able to, as a church, have the parade for our graduates, and Julianne, you were a big part of that and involved in that, and so we're so thankful for what you and Tim did. That was a really great time for them. So that helps, and we do find ways to kind of work through those things that we're missing. How about you, Julianne? What is it that you miss?
People is a big one. I
Yeah.
really miss that. We were supposed to have our first proper family vacation this year at the end of April. We were going to go to Florida with my parents and my brother and his family, and we did not get to go. So that was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But just being with people, it's amazing how much you miss that.
Yeah. I found myself in different kind of, we've done, a couple of the parade things, and I have found myself getting so emotional when I see people, and you just don't know how it's going to hit you. But for sure, that's really been a hard thing. And I've missed seeing faces here, when we do the recording for Sundays and you're talking to an empty room, you're welcoming an empty room. That's a little tough. So yeah, I'll be happy when we can see each other again. But through this process, I want to ask you kind of a serious question. What has God been teaching you? You know, have you been really digging into something in the Word, or just has something, as you've been reading or listening to things, has something jumped out at you that the Lord is just kind of pressing in? What is something that you're learning from Him? Anybody can go first.
Well, I'll go first.
Great.
I really thought about, I saw Gloria Gaither singing and Bill Gaither singing The King is Coming, and the first line is that work on earth has now ceased. And it just reminds you that, you know, God he's in control, he has a plan, and he can implement it at any time.
Right.
And so we think that we've got it all together, and then dead stop for everybody across the world, the whole world.
Right.
So it just reminds you of how big he is and how much of how problems cannot be solved without him. You know, we can't face it without him. So I've learned that. And I've also learned that Russ and I like being with my husband. So it's a good thing when he retires.
That's a good thing.
I'm going to enjoy being with him. So, yeah.
That's a good thing. After these years, it's a good thing that you've realized that.
Yeah, we can live together. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, you have such a sweet family, and that's really encouraging. Yeah. Well, Karen, how about you?
Well, I can tell you, there's been a couple of things. In doing a Bible study with some girls and through Philippians, I found it interesting that the week that we talked about the verse, do everything without grumbling or complaining, had been a really tough week for me. A lot of grumbling and complaining on my part. And then just listening to them talk about how they truly want to live lives that are worthy of the gospel, like we talk about in Philippians, very convicting for me. And how do I do that in my daily life? Do I go through life with joy, or do I grumble and complain a lot? You know, it varies from day to day, honestly. But one of the other things that just this last week kind of made me stop. I was leaving, had to go to Westminster to turn something in. As I was leaving, there was this mom, and she was stopped, and she was like doing this, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, and her little kids were running around. There was a huge turtle. And I'm sure it's a snapping turtle, and that's why the mom was going, stop. But they had stopped so her kids could see this turtle. And it just reminded me of all the times we did that. You know, when my kids were little, we'd stop and we'd look at the turtles. One particular walk, it took us 30 minutes to go 10 feet because we were walking as a cricket hopped. You know, we look at every hop and analyze the cricket. Just different things like that I think as life gets busy, I tend to overlook and take for granted. And so if anything during this time, I think God is just teaching me to stop, enjoy the little things in life, because they really are what make life great anyway, and just focus on those things. And when I can do that, the grumbling and the complaining and all of that tends to be a lot less. I can focus on the fact that instead of, oh my goodness, they're all in the kitchen with me and I can't move, to they're all in the kitchen with me and we're doing this together. It's all about the attitude and the way you approach it. And so for me, that has been the big thing with this, because you can, as when you're quarantined and when you're with these people that you love dearly, but they're the only people you see. When my boys are literally climbing my walls, I can just, you know, there are days I just want to scream and I want to leave, but then I just need to focus on the fact that, hey, my boys are healthy and they're able to climb the walls and they're big enough now they can clean it when they're done. So it's okay. You know, and just kind of enjoy those little moments together with my family, because it's something we're so busy we don't get to do very often. So that's kind of been the big thing for me, is just to stop and enjoy life.
I think that's a word for all of us for sure. Jessica, how about you?
Well, I'm being real honest.
Okay, we're ready.
And this is not anything new. Like, this is something I think the Lord continues to, you know, keep chiseling away at me. Is I really, really like control. And when I don't have control, or when that's kind of spun out of control, emotions and frustration and even anger comes up, you know, and just really honing in on slowing down, taking the breath, and examining what's going on and how to process and work through that. Like,
Mhm.
we've even employed like the Right Now media that we're using as a church. There's so many amazing resources on there. One of them is Overcoming the Emotions That Destroy by Chip Ingram, and that's one we're going through. Just to be real and honest, that's a sin problem of mine, and the Lord has really honed in on that during this time.
Mm-hmm. I think that is one that we can all relate to. I know I can. And just that sense of feeling out of control. It's like, in these moments, going back to what you've all said, slowing down and realizing that fast, frenetic pace that we always try to keep really does lend itself to us thinking that we're controlling it all, like what Miss Polly said earlier. And we're not. God is in control, and we're able to really see that in these times and in these days. And that's a valuable lesson for us to take away from this and to remember, even as things go back to maybe not normal, but more busy and more involved, for sure. Julianne, how about you? What have you been learning? What's God been teaching you during this time?
Make sure that I'm intentional about things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get through the day, and it's funny because we've been staying up significantly later than I ever would have in a normal schedule. And it's like, what did I do with my time today? And just making sure that I do make that effort to read my Bible and to do these other things, or it just, the day goes on and that's it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking that time and just being mindful, intentional, all of that the Lord is near and we need to draw near to him. And I love all of your answers, because in essence that's what you're describing, and we have to sometimes fight for that, especially as moms and as wives, and just in the busyness of the day. If you're working, if you're taking care of things at home, especially homeschooling, that kind of thing, it can all just take us away before we realize it. So that intentionality certainly is important. And then as we're thinking about kind of moving back into different areas of life, we're talking about when our church will come back together. We're talking about, we were talking about the hairdresser earlier. We're talking about the different places that we can go and do different things. What are some concerns that you have about going out, especially with your family? Or is there anything that's making you feel like, I don't know if I'm ready?
Well, we're kind of taking that slow and allowing to see things open up and see how things progress.
Yeah.
We have at least 2 in our home who have, I'm talking about my little ones.
Yeah.
That have asthma issues. And so they would be, more susceptible to being more sick with COVID. I know that it doesn't typically affect kids as much, but there are some lingering effects from kids who do contract it. So we're just kind of holding back and slowing down and trying to watch and see how things are going. So when our church does get to meet, I will probably still stay home with the little ones for a time being, for 2 reasons. One, to for their safety, but for 2, we're not going to do childcare for that time. And two under the age of 2 won't sit still.
You don't want to hold them in your lap the whole time?
No.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. I don't have that in my life anymore, but I have thought about how that might be as a young mom, bringing those little ones in. And I know Pastor Ryan said last week, we're not worried about it. We're not concerned if they're moving around. We'll enjoy that. It'll be fine. But yeah, thinking through just the logistics of all of it and what you'll need to do when you're here. So that's understandable. Yeah. How about you, Julianne? Any concerns?
It's part of it is just so unknown.
Yeah.
If we knew, okay, it looks like this and the virus does this and this and this, and then if you wait this long, it'd be a completely different ballgame. But because there's so much unknown, it's hard to measure your steps.
Yeah.
I know church-wise, we'll give it a go the first week, I guess, and see how we get on. It's going to be all that we can do to keep Maddie from running to the people that she knows and loves.
Oh, loving them, hugging them. Yeah, absolutely. Karen, do you have any concerns?
Well, I'm at a different stage than
Yeah.
Jessica and Julianne with my kids, so I'm not as concerned about their health and how I think that, we say, no, first of all, my boys don't run up and hug anyone anymore, so we're okay. If they're doing that, you need to let me know because there's something really wrong with them. I'm not worried about that, but I am concerned about just being sure we're not someone or a family that brings concern to other people.
Yeah.
Because my kids are at an age where I'm not worried about them getting sick necessarily, or the effects of that being long-term for them. But I also want them to be, and I want us to be respectful and mindful of the fact that there are people that is an issue for, and we want to love them by respecting that and by putting those boundaries up. And even if it's someone that, isn't around us when it's happening, but they observe it happen or whatever, I want to be sure we're not doing anything that would cause concern for others.
Yeah.
And I'm not typically a mom that puts a lot of pressure on my kids to, I don't want to say perform, but to do things for other people because I don't want them to feel that pressure. But this is one of those situations where we've just tried to, explain it's a way to love other people.
Yeah.
And we show them love by respecting that for them. And, I think we'll be okay. So I'm not concerned for me. I am concerned for others. And I am concerned for people with little people. I can remember going to church and having those little people on me, and it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
I know what that's like. But at the same time, just to encourage you guys that it's okay. None of the rest of us care because most of us have been there at one point and we understand what it's like. And in any other situation, I would go offer help. But I don't think that's helpful in this particular situation with all this social distancing.
Right.
So, I'm more concerned for other people than I am for our immediate family.
And like you said, it's such a great time for us to teach our children, if they're of the age where they can be learning this, that, there's certain things that we can do and that we can not do that both will demonstrate love. I think Pastor Ryan talked a lot about that last week on the Ask the Pastors, that this is an opportunity for us to love one another and to do it in a unique way and in a different way, but still an effective way that as the church, whether we're out in the community or whether we're talking about coming in these doors as I'm here in the office here at church, it's just an opportunity for us to show love for one another and to put others first, to think about how to put others first. So that's a great lesson for our children. How about you, Polly? Is there any concern that you have about going out and about during this time as things are opening?
Yeah, I'll probably just like all of you, but I think I'm more concerned about Russ going out, and getting back, because he'll be, in the thick of the community, and he's done really well about wearing a mask and washing his hands and things like that. He's really stayed true to that when he's been out lately. And so I think he'll do that, but I worry more for him because he'll be, he'll stay like if it's a Sunday the whole time and be in the thick of it, just like you will, Stephanie, and your husband. So I think I'm more concerned for him. I'm, I don't know, I'm impressed, or I appreciate the way our staff has thoughtfully talked about how to get back involved and opening up and doing it carefully and thinking about everybody. So I like that the first service will be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think I may get my grandmother's gloves out and start wearing them to church.
And wear those.
Yeah,
be fashionable.
white gloves, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. And then, I think just the practices we're learning are probably good ones anyway, of the, 6 foot distancing and flu weather. We should be doing that anyway.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I am concerned, but I also believe we'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, good. I know that as we have conversations and as we think through whether it's opening here at church or things that we're thinking of in the fall, there are so many things that come up that may not have even crossed my mind, and so I've really, really appreciated each of your husbands for their willingness to work so hard in thinking through what this whole process will look like, and really thinking through the different groups of people that we have and the different situations. And it's a lot of work, and they've done a great job at that, and I'm so thankful. So I think my concerns are just like many of you have said, just for other people, just making sure that people feel comfortable and that there's not any fear or anything like that. So we'll see, right? We're moving toward that day when we can be together as a church, and then thinking about going all those other places. And I'm a little concerned because I haven't heard from my hairdresser. I thought she would send a text and say, I'm open, come on, but she hasn't. So I'll be excited to go there. So is there one place that you'll be excited to go once things do kind of return to a little bit of normalcy? What are you looking forward to? Anybody?
Well, we were supposed to go. Yeah.
Jessica, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're supposed to go on a cruise to Alaska in August.
Yeah.
So I would love to do that, but I
don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Julianne, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I want to go on my Florida vacation. I want to enjoy the beach.
Yes, these two with those little ones are wanting a vacation.
Yes.
Karen, you looking forward to going anywhere?
I want a pedicure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go be able to have coffee or brunch or something. Since my summer trips are gone, that's okay with me. But I would like to fill that time with friends that I don't normally get to do.
Yeah.
So I would like to have coffee with friends.
Yeah. Polly, you said that earlier. What's your favorite spot to go with your friends?
I have about 12 favorite spots.
Oh,
I do like Yaya's. I like going there. We like Egg and I.
Yeah.
Sunrise Cafe, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We have several that we go to.
Yeah.
There's an Italian place that's really good.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to go to Florida in June. I'm looking forward to that if we get to go.
Okay.
And I have a hair appointment this Friday, so we'll see how that.
Can I go with you? Maybe she'll have time for mine when you're done.
Yeah.
Well, yes, those vacations, that is something that hopefully all of you will get to do. I hope that still works out. And so as we are moving towards the end of our time together, what are some ways that we can pray for you and for your family as we are moving toward reopening? As pastors' wives, you are all in a unique spot. You are, of course, very visible, and you all handle it with grace, and we appreciate you so much. But I know that brings pressure, and I know that sometimes that can be a little bit stressful. And then, as things pick up here at church, your husbands will be more in it, like you said, the thick of things. And so I know that will be, once again, kind of bringing in that juggling act that you do as pastors' wives. So what are some ways that we can be praying for you and for your family as we're moving towards opening up?
I would say for Ryan and the rest of the leaders and the pastors, just wisdom for all the little details. They've thought about so much, but I'm sure there's so much more that will still come up. But just that they would have wisdom and discernment on how to do all that, so that God can be glorified in it. And then for my kids, all three of them, that they would be able to reconnect with friends.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of missed that. And then for me, I just think, just pray that I don't lose focus of what's really important in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the big stuff necessarily, but just the little things that I can just focus on that.
Yeah.
And keep that focus.
Yeah. Well, we all know the little things are important. They're the best things. That's what we say in the little household. Jessica, how about you? How can we pray for you?
I would just echo the same for wisdom and discernment for us as a family. The decisions to how we start introducing ourselves back into the world with our kids and things like that.
Mhm.
And for juggling all of that, right? So our plate is already full, and it's going to get more full come fall
Yeah.
with some other things added in there. So yeah,
Mhm.
just for all of those things that we
Mhm.
would take and organize and strategize and do all that wisely,
Mhm.
but to the glory of God as well,
Yeah.
not just to check a box.
Absolutely. Polly, you've shared with us your concerns for Russ, so we will definitely be in prayer for him. Is there anything else that we can be praying for as your family moves forward?
Yeah, that I would know when to get back. You know, when is the right date for me? I'd hate to be the one. I know our church, as far as I know, we've not had a COVID-19 case in our fellowship, and I hate to be the one that brought it in. So no one would want that. And so just and for our health, and then wisdom to know how to interact with people and the right time. And but I'm really grateful for where we are right now, and
Yes.
my heart is concerned for those who have weathered this not so comfortably as I
Yeah.
have.
Right.
I know in our own church fellowship, we have some that are without jobs, or you know, it's getting really tight for people. So I think so how can we, if this is going to go on for a long time, how can we minister better to, what could I do? Is there something I can do?
Right.
I know, maybe pray for that.
Yeah, that's a prayer for all of us. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Julianne, how about you?
We're getting a little bit of cabin fever in our house. Even though we have a fantastic backyard and we can throw the kids out there, it's starting to hit them.
Yeah.
We're seeing it in behavior and just attitudes, and it's hard to know how to steer that, because it's not just, this is not normal life right now.
Right.
So just wisdom for us as we seek to deal with it and not lose our minds as well. So.
Yeah, not lose your mind. We pray for that. That is true. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And all of this time just gives us a little glimpse into who you are and what you have going on. And I did want to ask kind of a fun question. I don't know where this will take us, but I do want to know, what is one fun thing about you that we may not know? So think for a second and let me decide who I can start with. I'm going to start with Julianne. One fun thing about you that we may not know.
One fun thing. So back when we lived in Ireland, we would go to a conference in the Netherlands. And one year we decided to drive our car there. Ireland and mainland Europe do not drive on the same side of the road.
Oh, okay.
I got to drive our family van on the wrong side of the road, and the wrong side of the car on the right side of the road.
Oh no. Oh no. And did you handle it well? Did everybody stay calm?
It was significantly easier than I thought it would be, until we had to pay the tolls, and then Tim had to pay the tolls if I was driving, or I paid for him. So
yeah. Well, you do have a lot of fun stories from living in Ireland for, what was it, 10 years? How long were you there?
9 years. I was there for 9 years.
9 years. Yeah. You even have that little bit of the accent we've all noticed.
It comes and goes sometimes.
Yes. Okay. And so, Jessica, what is one fun thing about you?
I think it would probably be that I am a tomboy at heart. So I would much rather be outside doing things than inside doing things. And one summer during college, I worked in construction, building houses.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. I might give you a call, or Karen. Karen might give you a call. She has some home projects.
No. I was just the person that would go, hoist sheets of plywood up to the roof and carry wood. I don't know how to do anything really.
Well, how about you, Polly? What's one fun thing about you?
Well, last year I drove a jet ski for the first time and the last time.
The first time and the last time.
I've done it. I was a daredevil probably when I was younger, and I used up all those, that chutzpah. So, but that's the last time. So
Did
I'm
your,
not fun anymore.
you're not fun anymore. Did your grandchildren get to see you do that?
They all.
Okay, that's all that matters.
I
That's
didn't
all that
get there,
matters.
but I did only go like 25 miles an hour. That's better. Yeah.
Who cares how fast it was? You did it, right? Okay, and Karen, I know there's some fun things about you. What you going to share?
There's really not.
Oh, we know that's not.
It's rather boring. Uh, there's a lot of stupid stories I could share with you, but I won't. Something fun about me, I think it's fun, is that I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I have been blessed to be able to go to 22 countries in the last 13 years. If there is an ocean anywhere in that country, my feet are going to find it. I typically don't go all the way in because it's usually really cold, but
Mhm.
I love to put my feet in the ocean, see wherever we are. So I mean, it's kind of fun. It's not anything I would have, in my childhood, I never would have imagined that I'd be able to say that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun thing. And there really are a lot of silly stories that I can tell you just because I tend to stick my foot in my mouth a lot in every language I've ever tried to speak. And just, different things, but I'll spare you those details.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that if we had more time, we will
You
want
could
to
tell
hear
some.
all of those stories. But I do appreciate each one of you. You are all fun in my book. You are all just such sweet friends, and that is really important. And I appreciate that about each one of you. And you have given us some things to pray, and there are people in our comments that are already going to the Lord on your behalf. And we have some connections to the Right Now Media information that you shared that is there. So if you're watching, just take a look through our comments and you'll see some of those things that the women have referenced, and someone does want us to share recipes. So that's something we need to think about doing. Maybe we can put that up on our page somewhere. But is there anything else that you'd like to share with anyone before we go? Jessica, any jabs you'd like to take at your husband about football before we go?
No, he just likes to glory in those little moments of 1 second when we have time and time again beaten them. So
That's right. Hours of victory, right?
that's right.
Okay. Well, with that, we will go ahead and finish out our time together. I have enjoyed it. Thank you again so much. We're praying for you. We can't wait to see you. And next week, I guess we'll have the guys back on. No, we're excited. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.